Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Creative Focus, the show that illuminates some of Cleveland's most talented and creative artists across the genres of dance, film, music, theater, TV, and visual arts. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I'm thrilled, truly honored to have as my guest today on Creative Focus, minister, motivator, TV news anchor, award-winning journalist, and Hall of Famer, Miss Danita Harris. Danita, welcome to Creative Focus.
Wow, thank you so much. I love the energy in your intro. You made me feel good. I was like, who is that? Who is that?
Let's chop it up.
Let's chop it up. Let's do it.
Hey, so I have to admit to you, when you agreed to be on my TV show, I text my dear friend, our dear friend, legend Leon Bibb.
Oh, yes.
And so I texted him. I said, Danita Harris is going to be on my show. And he texted me back and he said, oh, it's going to be a great show. He said, send me the link. So I got to be on top of my game.
Leon is legend. Period, and I really look up to him so much in so many ways, not just as a journalist because he is iconic in that in the industry, but just as a person who still wants to share his insight, his wisdom about life and being in journalism and being African American in journalism. Working with him, he is just like, I call him that tree in the newsroom that you sit under for wisdom. That is Leon. That is Leon. Yeah.
Well, he said that you are the epitome of caring and class.
Oh, wow. So we're mutual fans of each other.
Yes.
Says we are.
He's also my fraternity brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Native of Chester, PA.
Yes.
Graduate of University of Maryland. What inspired you to go into broadcast journalism?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was always a young girl who loved to write and write poetry. Writing was a form of me getting my emotions out. I wouldn't always speak up, but I always loved to write and get my emotions out. I talk too much, always got great grades in school, but, got that she talks too much, so I love talking. I love writing. I'm naturally nosy. I always want to know about things. I was not the one in the family to say we're going to have a surprise party because I'm going to tell it. And I love people. So honestly, I had all the natural things, because those I think are the natural things for a journalist. You want to know, you want to tell stories, you like people. But I did suffer from low self-esteem. And I was watching WPVI in Philadelphia, Channel 6, watching Lisa Thomas Laurie and Jim Gardner. And I would look at them as a young girl. I was like, man, I wish I could do that one day. They seemed, so smart because I thought they memorized all the stories. They looked good. I said, wow, I wish I could do that one day. But I didn't think I was pretty enough. I looked at the women on television back then. No one looked like me. Even if you were African American, the women were light skinned and Farrah Fawcett hair. So I was like, okay, they don't look like me. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to mess up. So going to college, I was like, you know what? I want to do that, but I'll just be a television producer. Sometimes we convince ourselves to, go less than what our actual dream is. At least I'll be around it. So I started out, behind the scenes. And then I just wanted to learn how to produce news, entertainment, sports. And so I worked at BET for 8 years. And 6 of those years, I was behind the scenes, hiding because I was fearful of being in front of the camera. I was fearful. I was writing packages for anchors, writing packages for talent, but afraid to step in front of that camera because of what my low self-esteem, my self-defeating thoughts was telling me that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't look good enough. At that time, BET, there weren't brown-skinned Black women. There was fair-skinned women. And so I really wasn't seeing me even at a Black network until Bev Smith came with Our Voices with Bev Smith. It was a talk show that BET had. And then I said, wow, someone that looks like me. So through my faith, and I really have to, I know we're going to get into this later, but it really was developing my faith to come out of that fear of, you can't do it. You'll never be good. People will laugh at you. It was my faith that really gave me the courage to step out from behind the scenes and try the reporter and get in front of the camera, which I know now I was always destined to be. And that's why as a little girl looking at news anchors, I had a connection like, man, that's what I want to do. So it has been that kind of thing for me. I think that television is a powerful medium. Television connects me to people. My purpose is connect people to a better life. That's why I'm here. It's part of my purpose. So I will tell you that I feel that I'm blessed to have my P's line up: my profession, my passion, and my purpose. Television, journalism, it does that for me. And I think I'm pretty fortunate to have that.
So what were the circumstances that brought you to Cleveland? Because I know you came to Cleveland in 1998 to do the morning exchange. Is that correct?
So let me tell you about this. So what brought me to Cleveland? I was broke. Okay. I was broke. Okay. So in 1997, I became a reporter in 1995, and I'm working at BET, and I'm working on a show that's sort of like Entertainment Tonight for African Americans. But Bob Johnson, who was the CEO at the time, canceled a lot of his original programming. And so I was a part of that layoff. My parents had already moved to Cleveland. And so my mother was like, come to Cleveland. And when I came to Cleveland, I took a little detour to Atlanta, following the boyfriend. But, then my mama was like, you just need to come to Cleveland, mama knows. And so after a while, I came to Cleveland, but I came here broke with $1.82 to my name. My dad knew someone who knew someone at Channel 5 and sent my tape in. And that's how I got the job at Channel 5. Within 30 days, I got the job. And so I am very familiar with being depressed, being on that unemployment line, being a woman that's lost, everything, you're trying to find your way. I am very familiar with that. And I know what fighting anyway and getting up and trying anyhow, kind of swallowing your pride. I had to move back in with mom and dad. But, it was all for a good thing because Cleveland has been great for me.
Hall of Fame career. What do you think are the most important qualities in making a great news anchor? Not a good news anchor, but great news. Yes.
First and foremost, you got to love the craft. Newsrooms, there's no perfect newsroom. But as long as you love the craft of what you're doing, I love broadcasting. I love writing. I love telling stories. I like engaging with people on television. I look at that camera like it's a person. You've got to love that, and you've got to take it seriously. Also, you need to care about the community you serve. That means you need to get out there in the community. Something Leon Bibb taught me. Get out in the community, Danita. Do your school talks. Do those luncheons. Get to know people. What you'll come to find out is when people want relationships with you, they'll tell you their story. When you call, they'll answer. Right. Love the community. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. I find that if you come into television just to be lights, camera, action, you're not going to last because it's hard. It's not easy. Being in front of the camera, you also have to know how to deal with people. A lot of times, if you don't have good people skills, they're not going to want to tell you their story. If you come off nasty or bougie or stuck up like they think most of us are, they're not going to want to talk to you. But love the craft of broadcast journalism and learn as much as you can. A really good news anchor knows a little bit about everything. So when I came from BET was Black. It was what I live. It was what I know. My product was who I am. Coming to Channel 5, that's mainstream. So broaden your horizon. You just can't read Essence, read Time, read the Wall Street Journal, read other things, read People magazine. That's not in your culture necessarily, but you got to know a little bit about everything. Why? Because you need to be able to participate in conversations. When we don't broaden our knowledge, you can't participate. A good anchor should be able to give perspective on a little bit of everything. And in a local market, you should be in the community enough that when that story comes up about, for example, Ginn Academy. Oh, Ted Ginn Sr., who has a passion for kids. He and his wife, they take these kids on trips to colleges to visit. How do I know that? Because I've had conversations with him. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It makes the difference between the anchor who just sits there and reads the copy and the anchor that can say, I've been to Angie's, or I've been to Blue Point or wherever you want to say. But you got to get out. You got to know who you're serving, and that's going to make you better at the desk.
How difficult is it to tell the hard stories, but still have empathy for your audience?
Yeah, I got to tell you, wow, that's such a great question because it's what we're dealing with right now. Or I'll take you back to when it's George Floyd time and the protests and the racial divide and, people over politics. These are the really hard stories, the death, the violence, the crime, right? How you do that is you must master how to compartmentalize, right? Anchors, reporters, we're objective, okay? I don't care how I'm feeling on the inside, which I feel, I'm an empath and I feel. But when that camera comes on, I have to be objective, they're looking at not just my face, but they listen to your tone. Now that tone can work for you. If it's a death, a child, something painful, I will tag it. Our hearts and prayers go out to that family. That's showing empathy for what is happening. Mm-hmm. If it is political, report it with objectivity. Never let whatever you feel or whatever your personal thing is come into it. You've got to master that. That takes time. That takes practice. And let me tell you something, it takes a dig deep, Mm-hmm. I've had to do that. My faith helps me tremendously with delivering the news. People say, how? Because I trust a higher power no matter what is happening, that I still want to give hope. So I believe that I am a news anchor. I consider myself a vessel of information and inspiration. Mm-hmm. I'm a morning anchor, so I'm easing you into your day. I'm not trying to beat you over the head, but I want to make you laugh. I want to make you smile at some point. I know I'm conscious that I'm delivering some bad news to you. First 5 minutes of a newscast, usually bad news, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sensitive to that. And I may say, hey, let's lighten it up a bit right now. It's all in your wording. It's all in your tone. It's all in your smile, your face, the way you can do things. And viewers appreciate that. And they know that. So I've mastered how to do that. But I'm going to tell you the other thing. When news is over, news is over. So I don't go home and immerse myself in newscasts. It's too much. It's too negative. I can't do, I got to find the harmony. So I balance it out because it is tough. It is tough. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to lie. There's not a news anchor reporter. It is tough, especially now with so much that's happening in this world. We take that in, but we have to learn how to put it in perspective so it doesn't alter our entire mood.
How do you think the industry has evolved from the time when you first started up until now?
Tremendously. Let's see. I started when there were 3/4 inch tapes. They were huge, and beta tapes. Now we're digital.
Right.
I remember in the studio, we would have camera people behind the cameras. Now they're robotic. I remember, I'll give you something current, where we had a teleprompter operator. Now my prompter is voice activated. There is no person. It just goes off of my voice and the speed of my voice. Wow. Technology has totally changed. We now push to apps, push you to our website. Apps are really important because let's face it, everyone is not watching the news. You don't have to wait, right? You don't have to wait for your local news. You can tap that app all day long and get it, right? So it has changed so much. We don't, now, myself at Channel 3, Russ Mitchell, a few of us, we still old school. And we still had the papers. You're going to see us doing the anchor shuffle. Okay. But tablets. Now there are tablets, So your rundown is there. Your scripts are there on the tablet, So technology has totally changed how we deliver news, what we focus on, what we have to think about, because we know younger people, they want the apps, they want the live stream, the digital. That's what's happening right now. But I think in a local market, what you can't get on an app is what I'm telling you, that feeling, that emotion, that moment, those moments we give you of interaction, human interaction. The app is not going to give you that. So that's where we're sticking. But it has changed tremendously. And we're just trying to roll with it.
Let's flip the script for me.
Okay.
Let's talk about on the national stage, because I know you've had some tremendous opportunities.
Yes.
Interviewing Oprah, guest hosts of The View and Kelly and Ryan. Talk a little bit. How did that come about, the interview with Oprah?
So, I definitely was that young Black woman in the industry that, wow, what could I do ever in my career to meet Oprah Winfrey? I watched her show every day, and I remember sitting there, what could I ever do to get on that yellow couch, that leather butter couch? What could I do, because I just absolutely admired Oprah, loved Oprah, watched Oprah, gleaned from Oprah, things to do. And so when she did her sexual predator thing, and the second one she caught was from Cleveland, but he was in Belize. Because she aired on WEWS and I was working there at the time, she invited us to come to the show, right, to interview her. Now, this would be my second time. The first time she came to Olivet Institutional Baptist Church because Dr. Moss, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss, is her spiritual advisor.
Yes.
So she came for Family and Friends Day.
Okay.
That was my first interaction with her. And I will tell you that I was the only person to interview her here at Olivet. And she's very giving because, see, she's a journalist too. She knows what you need, right? So she knows it. I will tell you, you don't feel the bigness of her persona. You never feel that. This is her gift. She makes you feel woman to woman, human to human. I'm right here with you. That's her gift. That's how people spill their guts to her because she makes you so comfortable. When they flew me to Chicago and I was at her show, we got to watch her show. And then they said I could interview her on her set. So I actually got to sit there where I've always been. What can I do to sit on that couch? Well, there I was. My butt was sitting on the couch. And Oprah walks in after the show. And you know what? She was singing "It Is Well With My Soul." She came in singing "It Was Well With My Soul." She had these flats on. I said, what happened to those bad shoes you had on? She said, girl, that's the 1 hour shoes. See, right away, she lets you know you're a woman, I'm a woman. I have the same thing that you have. So that's how that 2 times I've interviewed her, that's how it came about. And one thing she told me when the interview was over, Danita, you're not in this position just for the lights, camera, action. God put you in this position to be a help to others, and you are to service others. And that's what she does. And so it was a great meeting, but you're nervous, but she calms you. She calms you.
And what about the Kelly and Ryan?
So Kelly and Ryan they were doing a tour of different cities. And so there would be a different city every week. And so they wanted to do Cleveland in November. Keep that in mind, Cleveland in November. I'm like, where are we going to go? Inside Playhouse Square? You want to do the Rock Hall? Oh, no, they want me outside in November in Cleveland. I said, this is not going to be pretty. So we, they're doing a talk back with me. They have me out there, by Edgewater Beach, by the Cleveland script sign in November. I'm going to keep saying that. The first question, Ryan says, Danita, for some of you kept calling me Danita. He says, how are you doing? Well, you know me. I'm going to say, well, that's a loaded question, Ryan. Let me tell you, it's not crisp. It's cold out here. I said, the wind is whipping my hair, giving me a new hairdo, and my nose is running, okay, because I got some. So, I got a lot going on this morning. Thank you for asking. How are you? And that just erupted into laughter. And then Kelly called me her soulmate, and they invited me to come on to the show to co-host, which I'm still waiting for that call, by the way. Kelly, give me a call. So that's how that happened. And then with Kelly Clarkson, last year I was on her show because she's highlighting Good Neighbors. And so Upcycle, a part shop here in Cleveland, the 2 women that I went with, it was just wonderful. We got to highlight a wonderful organization and a store here in Cleveland that's really doing great things in the community. And Kelly Clarkson, what you see is what you get. Down to earth, very approachable, a lot of fun, and it was great. So I like crossing over into the national shows, doing The View when Star Jones was on there, and Meredith Vieira, going there and actually being a co-host, wearing my Browns colors. Yes, I had a brown skirt, orange top, because I love my Browns. But that was another great national experience for me. And the one thing I will tell you is that I try to walk into it as like, I'm a person and you're a person. And, let's just try to go in there and keep my nerves calm. Not that it's the celebrities I'm around, but we're all here to do a job and let's have fun.
Is it more difficult doing national programming, the pressure?
Yeah, I think my nerves, definitely the nervousness, because you're thinking it's national.
Right.
The key is, again, I'm going to go back, but it's all the same craft. it's still the same skill set, right? I'm bringing my same skill set that I bring when I do the news here or I'm on camera here. I'm just going to bring that. It's national. It's a bigger stage. So yeah, you're going to I feel that, oh my goodness. But at the same time, I hone into who I am. And I think any good anchor reporter, that's the thing you're going to have to learn. Who are you? You know, when I see young reporters, I still do it. I say, yeah, you can write well, but where are you? I don't know who you are. What makes you stand out? You know, what makes you different? What makes you unique? Those are the things that only time gives you. You know, you can't get that in college. You have to keep doing this thing over and over again to get the things that time will bring to you, you know, if you stick to it, So, yeah, but it is more I will tell you, it's a little more nerve wracking knowing you're going to be on national TV. Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, you're right. But I just try to be Danita, you know.
So you are an ordained minister.
Yes, I am.
You inspire people with your words. How do you make sure that your motivational and inspirational messages reach a wide range of people, would you say?
I'm going to tell you because I make myself available and accessible because I'm just like you. I think because I came here broke, depressed, and hurting. And I think that's why I started my nonprofit to focus on hurting women. I can understand your walk because I walk that walk. I don't think I'm any better than anyone else. And that's why I have a sensitivity to people who are going through life's challenges. So I make sure that when I am ministering, you're going to hear some of that in anything that I say, because I'm going to be able to relate to you. And because it's the truth. And I think the thing is to be authentic. I think ministers don't come off like you're holier than thou. Don't come off like you've never sinned. Don't come off like, yes, you are saved, but Jesus is still saving you from some things, you know, because we all have issues. We're all evolving and working it out, right? New levels, new devils, right? So I always make sure that Danita, the woman, comes through so that I can relate to the masses. I'll give you a perfect story. I went to speak at a church. A woman came up to me afterwards and she said, I started not to come when I heard you were the speaker, and I want to apologize to you because I thought a news anchor like you could never relate to anything that I've ever been through. But then when I listen to you, I see that you do. You've been through what I've been through and you have gotten through it. And I want to apologize for putting you in a place, because people will put news anchors. They think we are something that we're not, because maybe our lives look like lights, camera, action, and because of the hair and the makeup and the clothes that we're always together. But behind the scenes, you know, I'm doing breaking news while I'm breaking.
Wow.
You know, and I'm not ashamed to say that. See, I'm not ashamed to say that I have some issues, or, you know, when I was going through my divorce, you know, it was such a hard and dark time. That's how S.H.I.N.E came to be, because I was in a dark time and S.H.I.N.E was birthed out of the dark period. I'm going to tell you that. I'm not going to say, oh, you know, I'm a minister of God and, you know, God just deposits me. And I love doing it. And I was ready to do it. I tell them now, I don't feel like doing S.H.I.N.E every month, because I don't. No pastor will tell you they feel like pastoring all the time or preaching all the time. Why? Because we're human, just like anyone else. But we do it because we have a will to do it, you know, and it's what we were created to do. So I think how I reach different people is because I'm going to be real about who I am, where I was, where I'm going, and the things that I'm experiencing, just like you. That's the connection. That's the connection.
That's the connection.
Yeah.
We have a clip.
Okay.
A video clip that I want to share with my audience from Celebrate Sisterhood.
Oh, yes.
So those who don't know, they can get a gist of what's going on with Danita Harris.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this fabulous clip of my guest, Danita Harris.
There's one person that I better mention, or it's going to be a long ride home. And that is my mother is here with me today. So, Mom, if you would stand, Maddie Harris. Some of you may know her as Mama S.H.I.N.E. That is Mama S.H.I.N.E. And as you heard, I do have an organization called S.H.I.N.E. It is a 501c3 that I started 3 years ago because I am passionate about helping hurting women and also empowering young girls. So repeat after me. S, I am special. H, I have been handpicked to do something unique. I am influential. And I am needed in my community. And I will excel in excellence. Now touch your heart and say, I am a woman who shines. Now say it like you mean it with an attitude. Roll your neck. I am a woman who shines. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. So this is an organization that I started 3 years ago. We have hundreds of women that I meet with each and every month. Our website is shine-now.org if you would like to learn more about what I do. I also am in the Cleveland schools, and I have a Shine Girls program because I believe we have to start planting the seeds in our little sisters, right? And so I go into the schools twice a week, and I mentor 4th through 8th grade girls and teach them how to feel good about who they are and teach them what a healthy, come on, somebody, relationships, and how about this, financial literacy, okay? So I'm trying to do my part to help us to shine, because no matter how dark your issue, we all have the ability to shine. So how many of you are here for the first time? Wave your hand in the air and wave it like you care. All right, okay. How many of you came because a friend told you to come? Word of mouth. Where my word of mouth? Friend told you to come. All right. How many of you came because you were threatened to come? All right, yeah, I see you over there. I see you over there. Okay, I know it's still early, but let's be honest. How many of you feel good because you made a choice to be here this morning? Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Sisters, we are conditioned as little girls to take care of babies, cook for our families, clean our homes. And then we learned that we could bring home the bacon fried up in a pan and never, ever let my man forget that he is my man. Sisters, we are expected to juggle balls labeled home, family, career, church, community with the ease of a circus performer who is seasoned with time and the innate ability to keep everything moving in the air, as if our hand and ball relationship were as fluid as Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. Sisters, we take care of them and we handle it. We worry about what they will say and we stress if he is not okay. But there comes a time when we must stop and pause and take a good look at who we've become. Doing so many things, fulfilling so many roles that our me nerves have become numb. Do you remember me? You know, the one who always takes a backseat to others. Do you remember me? The one who sacrifices so that you and you and you and you can be happy? Do you remember me? The one who never takes a time out because whenever it's time for me, they are always out of time.
Cleveland is more than a city. It's a collection of neighborhoods, each with its own heartbeat. From the corner store to the community centers, historic landmarks to hidden gems. Every ward has a story, and we're here to tell it. Meet the residents, explore the businesses, celebrate the culture, and feel the pride, one ward at a time. This is Welcome to Our Ward, where Cleveland is home. Only on TV 20, Our City, Our Story. Let's talk a little bit more about S.H.I.N.E.
Yeah.
I know it was founded in 2016.
Yes.
And I know that because I did my research.
Yes.
I know your son Chase helped with a little bit of that.
Oh,
so
man.
Talk about that.
So
S.H.I.N.E.
as I said, S.H.I.N.E came out of a dark time, and God literally told me August 12th, 2016, you're going to meet with women once a month. It's going to be S.H.I.N.E. It's an acronym. That stands for S, you're special to God. H, you've been handpicked by God to do something unique. I, you will influence others to choose God by your lifestyle. in you're needed in the kingdom of God, and E, you will excel in excellence through God because you are a woman who shines. He gave that to me and said I was going to start it in November of 2016. So I procrastinated. I'm beyond, I didn't want to do it because I'm going through a dark time. I'm struggling. I'm trying to find light, and you want me to help other women shine. I felt some kind of way, and I felt like, God, I'm praying to you and seeking you for guidance in this time of my life, and you're putting something else on my plate. So I procrastinated and didn't look for a venue until October because he said, don't put it in a church. I know lots of pastors here in the city. They're awesome. And I could have gone to them and said, can I use your church to have these meetings? But God said, don't put it in a church. So we had it at the Hyatt in Legacy Village. And I waited until October to do it, and didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have registration, just put a flyer up on my Facebook page. I put out 60 chairs. I said, I'll help women find jobs. I book people that can tell you how to do a resume, how to dress, blah, blah, blah. Well, we got put out because over 100 women showed up. And that was my first and last meeting at the Hyatt. Wonderful people, but it was too many people. You know, I knew we were going to have music and we have food. So then I moved to the MC Suites in Beechwood. S.H.I.N.E women, we met every month. It grew up to like 400 women in every month.
Wow.
It got really big. In May of 2018, I believe this was, my son says to me, Mommy, what you do for women, you need to do for girls because girls need to shine too. Well, out of the mouth of babes, right?
Mouth of babes.
A few months later, I was contacted by the principal at Dyke School of the Arts. Would you mind coming, doing a pilot program with my girls? My sister attends your S.H.I.N.E meetings. I need someone to come in here and help my girls with their self-esteem. Would you mind doing a pilot program here? Well, there it is. It was meant to be. S.H.I.N.E Girls started in October of 2018. Fast forward till about, about 2021, I would adopt a school for a year. I go in and I come, and mentor the girls. But then we said boys have a problem. In Cleveland Metropolitan School District, there's not a consistent program where the boys are getting what they want. And at the time I was at Wilbur Wright Elementary, the boys were just woo. So I called Josh Cribbs. I said, hey, Josh, and everyone knows beloved, former Browns player, exactly. Just an awesome man. Yeah. Hey, would you come and do an assembly with these boys? He comes, he says, yes, he does it. These kids are like glued to him. And I saw him stay afterwards. And he talked to the boys in division, small groups, took his time to do that. Bing. Hey, Josh, if I start a mentoring program for boys, would you head it up? Say less, I'm there. S.H.I.N.E Brothers was born. So now Josh and I go into schools. We adopt one for a year. He takes the boys, I take the girls. We do 4th through 8th grade children, and we let the schools pick the students, but we're there every Tuesday. We are now in our 6th school in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. We're at Miles Park. And let me tell you something, it has been a blessing to me because one, our kids need it. There's one thing to talk about what's happening with our kids from the news desk. It's another thing to get down and sit with them, talk with them every week and see what's happening in their lives. They need mentors. They need hope that they can live past 21. And I'm just talking real talk. A lot of our kids don't think they're going to live past 21. So they act out and do things because they think life is short, because they're surrounded by violence, and the home life is horrible. I'm just going to be straight. Right. So Josh and I give them hope. We give them field trips. We bring in people, we expose them to different things. And I absolutely love it. 2023, men need something. So I started S.H.I.N.E Men of Integrity. And so the men meet about 3 or 4 times a month. Josh and Apostle Carrie Pope from Atlanta, they come in. Same thing like the women. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that gives back to other nonprofits. So let's say the men's meeting this month, our charity is 1,000 Ties. 1,000 Ties is a nonprofit here. And so they need ties. So when the men come, they bring ties for the organization and then they learn about the organization and what they need. This is what S.H.I.N.E is about. We are a nonprofit giving back to nonprofits, trying to make the community better for men, women, and children. And really, this is part of my purpose. It really is. S.H.I.N.E has been a blessing. It's not easy, but I can tell you it's worth it. And they help me as much as I help them.
Yeah, because I think that's such a profound statement that you said that the purpose, profession, and the passion it revolves around that. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Yeah.
What are the challenges in being a Black woman in this industry, Danita?
Wow, great question. Maintaining your authenticity and not letting the obvious barriers, roadblocks, stop you from being you. Learning how to blend in, but know when to speak up. And I will say, Anchors are leaders. And I've learned which battles, that's not a battle for me to fight. But I think being an effective leader, you know when to speak up and how to use your authority and leverage. Being a Black woman where you don't see, I think actually you see more Black women and Black men actually in these roles of anchors. But the one thing that I've always had to maintain who you are, just fight to maintain who you are and know your value. Don't let them label you. You know what you bring to the table, right? Mm-hmm. And that is a thing in this industry. Like I said, I think there are more African-American women than Black males. And a lot of Black women anchors and reporters. But try not to, one thing I love is seeing the women with their natural hair. Can I say that? Mm-hmm. One things I get with young, they love that I wear my own hair, you know, or I'm not, you know, I'm relaxed, but I use my own hair. Or just your natural, I love my sisters with their natural hair, the twists, the braids, the culture that they're now bringing to the broadcast, that they're bringing to news. You're seeing this amongst Black women. I love that. I love that we're all different, you know, and I like that we now with the Crown Act, that we are able to show that. You know, you can wear your braids, you can wear your twists. Yes, you can be that strong Black woman, whatever defines you, and you can do that. And they can't turn you down. I love that. I do love that. So I like celebrating whoever you are.
You're a minister, mm-hmm. a motivator. You got S.H.I.N.E, a TV news anchor.
Yes.
How do you prioritize? Got a little thumb like that. Put a priority on your self-care.
So I'm glad you said that, because recently I've had to up my self-care. So I was very bad at it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm so used to giving and being there for other people. Towards the end of last year, I said, Danita, what about you? You know, I got a little burnt out, you know, doing S.H.I.N.E and 11 meetings out of a year, mentoring every week, working a full-time job, mother of a teenage boy. So I got to the point towards last year, Danita, what are you doing for Danita? Because you're getting a little burnt out. And then I had to make a decision. You know what? We're not going to meet 11 times this year. I'm going to cut S.H.I.N.E back. We're going to meet 6 times, you know, because on these months, I got to do Danita. And Danita right now, I get out of town. I can tell you, I've been starting to go out of town. I wouldn't go out of town that much, but I've been starting to get out of town, visit friends that I have in other cities. Sometimes no, I can't do an engagement. I have a weekend with no engagements. I'm not hosting. I'm not emceeing. I'm not preaching. It's I had to learn how to say no and be okay with it, because I went this weekend. I just want to be in my pajamas and watch Netflix all weekend, and that's okay. Telling myself it's okay, I got to pour back into Danita, because I'm not a good anchor. I'm not a good mom. I won't be a good minister if I'm not good to Danita, and really being intentional. And I want to use that word. We've got to be those of us who go and give and serve and called. You've got to be intentional about carving out time that's just for you. I call it put on your do not disturb sign. The Bible says even Jesus withdrew to lonely places and he prayed. So Jesus chose solitude over people. I had to learn how to do that. And solitude is great because I'm sufficient company for myself. And I love that. And that's what I've been doing this year. And I've had a great time. I've got on a plane several times and taken a weekend, you know, and just get out of town and just do the things that I want to do. And sometimes that's doing nothing.
Because you need that mental health.
Yes, you got to do it. You've got to. I'm big on mental health. I'm a mental health advocate. And so I know that I've got to take some quiet time. You know what is also steal away? Sometimes we got to steal away, you know, and just be with me or be with friends or do whatever I want. But it's not that I'm in a serving capacity. I'll give you a perfect example. I just went to the Severance Hall, had the Black Panther. Okay. And the Cleveland Orchestra played the movie score live. I bought tickets to see that because I've worked Severance Hall, but I've never sat at Severance Hall to enjoy it. So I booked a ticket for my son and I to have a Friday night at Severance Hall, sit back, see Black Panther, and it was amazing. But see, that was me being intentional, looking at things, buy those tickets, sit down and enjoy Severance Hall instead of being up on stage working Severance Hall. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that has been something that I've been intentional about. And I can be honest, I wasn't doing really great at it, but now that I'm doing it, I'm getting better and better with the self-care because it's necessary.
How much stress do you think TV news anchors have? And is that stress, I mean, because some people thrive on it.
Right.
Some people love it, for what it is. How do you feel about that?
It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress because of what we're talking about. You have to learn how to put it in perspective. It's not about stress being breaking news all the time either. And I want to clarify that. If you have a breaking news situation in the newsroom, yes, all hands on deck. We got breaking news. I'm not talking necessarily about, I'm just talking about just the stress of what is happening in our city sometimes, confusion, chaos, that can be stressful. So here's all this stuff happening. Okay, I got to process all this. First of all, I'm taking it in. So I'm digesting it. Now I have to regurgitate it. And sometimes on a morning show, 2 hours, I'm regurgitating it like 3 or 4 times. The same bad thing over and over again. Yes, that's stressful. That is stressful. Journalists go through something, vicarious trauma. Okay, it may not have happened to us, that little boy, if a little boy died in a fire. Well, it's not my son, but I'm the mother of a son. And I feel that. I feel, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We carry that vicarious trauma through what we're repeating over and over again and what we're seeing over and over again. Right. How many times can I look at George Floyd? How many times I have to see that? How many times I have to hear that? That stays with you, That is a level of stress. So you have to find, here we go, other things outside of that to bring you some harmony. I'm not going to say it's a balance because I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life harmony. Okay. Find a way that you can put it in perspective and do some other things to combat that, because that's why you see a lot of people, stressed out, burnt out, depressed, suicidal. I will say this, there are television people and there are people who do television. I'm a person that happens to do television. TV people, everything that goes in that news and everything that goes on in the newsroom and anything that goes on, it flips them out because they have nothing else but TV. Their whole identity is TV. They're a TV person. But if you are a person, and this is just one slice of my pie, I happen to do this for my profession, then you learn that there are other parts of the pie. So, it's going to be all right because you have more pie to go. That's how you got to look at it, and you can tell those who are TV people and people who do TV. You will be able to know because you'll see how they zerk out when things go crazy. And I mean, I've seen it plenty of times. Yeah.
What do you hope your legacy in journalism will be when it's time to leave the anchor desk for good?
That's such a good question. I hope that people remember me as a woman who told good stories about good people. I'm not the journalist that wants to talk about death and destruction. I'm the journalist that wants to write about the good. I'm the journalist that likes stories of hope. And I hope they remember. I hope they remember that when they watch me at the anchor desk, that I made you smile. I made you feel good about something in the midst of all the bad. But Danita, you gave me that moment. You helped me to smile. My S.H.I.N.E organization, I know that's legacy because I'm touching children and I'm touching the lives of men and women. That's something at that meeting. And I get people that come up to me all the time. You prayed for me back in 2018 and it made a difference in my life, or you did this, or you said that, or you took a picture with my child. Any kind gesture. I hope they remember me as a kind person, a warm person, a loving person who genuinely cared about community. Not just for show, not for awards. I don't care about that because this is just who I am and what I do. It's not extra. It's just me. And I hope people get that. And I hope they see that and that I was a light that really tried to shine, and really wanted to let people see that you can shine too. My light is no greater than yours. We're all unique in that, but let's celebrate each other's uniqueness and not hate on each other. I'm really about that. And so I hope that's what people get. And I hope that's what they remember about me, because that truly is Danita.
We got about 60 seconds. What is your favorite gospel song?
Oh, my goodness.
Give me one.
Have Thine Own Way. Learned it, United Methodist Church, 8th grade. Have Thine Own Way, Lord, have Thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after Thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still.
Fascinating.
That's it.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you. I love talking to you.
I'm thrilled.
We can talk another hour.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll call our boss, tell her we're going to tell
Just call you.
Yeah, we're not going to tell it off. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
I want to thank my special guest, Danita Harris, for hanging out with us today on Creative Focus. So that's it, Cleveland, we're out. But remember, a true artist is not only inspired, but inspires others. I'm Cornell Calhoun III for TV 20 and Creative Focus. Until the next time becomes our time. Be well, Cleveland. Be safe.